Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another of Dr. Miranda's weekly live. It's Friday again, and I'm really happy to be with you all. Okay, my picture left me, but now I'm back. Okay, so I hope everyone had a wonderful week. And again, I'm back to answer your questions. I know we have a few new members to the group. So if you are new to the group, welcome. I do my Facebook Lives every Friday at 12:30 p.m. And basically, the lives are for you. I'm here to answer any of your questions. My goal is to help you become more nutritionally and hormonally balanced because that is when we're going to feel our best, and this is when we're going to be able to prevent a whole bunch of other health problems. Okay. I'm here to share with you all the science, and all the latest news, as to what are the natural therapies or natural methods that can help us, to either treat a certain problem or to prevent a certain problem. So if there's something that you've been wondering, or if you're more, like inclined to try something more natural before trying something more conventional, then absolutely feel free to post your question. I send out a reminder every Thursday, and you can just post your question, and I'll talk about it on Friday. If you want to listen to me live and you want to interact with me, then please join in at 12:30. If not, you can always catch the replay if the 12:30 time slot is not a good time. Okay? So let's begin. So just when I thought I was going to stop talking about COVID, and the COVID vaccine, because I've been talking about it, in all my other Facebook lives, we still have more questions, on COVID, and on the COVID shots. The question was, one, what can I take, if I have COVID? And the other one is, what can I take before and after, a COVID booster or shot, to protect, our immune system. First of all, I need to, just big disclaimer, there is no treatment for COVID. Okay, so the main things that we're looking for if you do get infected, and nowadays you pretty much only have to open a window, to get COVID. It's because the variant that's around is just so contagious. So chances are we're all gonna get it. I got it during the holiday season. My whole family had it. We were fine. But there are people who have more severe cases, and if you have the typical risk factors, which are most of them under your control. So I'm going to talk more about that in a bit. Obesity, high blood sugar and diabetes, high blood pressure. All of those are risk factors that will make you more predisposed to having a severe case of COVID. And those are things that you can do something, about it. You can try to lower your blood sugar. You can try oh, hi, Kathy. Nice that you were able to join in. You can do something about your blood sugar. You can do something about your blood pressure. You can try to lose some weight, and get your BMI to under 30. That's the main thing that you need, because it's the people with a BMI over 30 that have a more severe case, of COVID. I think this is a big message, that I want to just tell everyone, don't live in fear, don't just wait and see if you're going to have a mild case or a severe case of COVID. You can do something about trying to lower your risk factors now, today. It's science, the science is there, to prove that if you are able to lower your blood sugar, blood pressure, and your weight, that you are able to have an impact, on how well you can tolerate, this virus that's everywhere and that we're all gonna get, at some point. People who are over 65 years old that's also a risk factor, but of course there's nothing we can do about our age, unfortunately. So keep that in mind, okay? So you want to make sure that you're taking the typical immune vitamins. I've talked about this, so I'm going to go through this very quickly. Vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc. I mean, those are just, especially now in the winter months, take them, especially vitamin D. Studies are very consistent that if you're taking, even if it's just 1,000, IUs of vitamin D, and if you end up getting COVID, then you have less chances of having a severe case. I write all this in a lot of detail with all the numbers, to give you like all the science behind the reviews in a blog. You can probably scroll down, and check it here in the Facebook group, or if you want to go to my website, mynaturalclinic.com, there is a tab called Health Tips. On the second page, there is a blog called How Can You Decrease Your Susceptibility to COVID? So I would encourage you to listen to that. I have a bit of a video blog, there as well, a short video that I recorded, and the write-up with all the numbers. If you're a science person and you like to look at the actual numbers, then that's where I explain everything. Okay, so the more basic things is all your immune vitamins, vitamin C, D, zinc. If you do end up getting COVID, double up the dosages. Okay, so very simple. There was, and I've talked about this in the blog, and I got just another review as well. So I'm going to be posting this picture. I don't know if you can see it there. It's kind of hard to see. All the different things that have shown to help you improve, from COVID. And from all the natural things, one of the first things coming up is always quercetin. Okay, so I've talked about quercetin before. The reviews are with liposomal quercetin. Okay, you can find this in the health food store. You can find this in Amazon. It may be a good idea for you to order some just for you to have it in your household, just in case, you do end up getting exposed to COVID. It's not expensive. Again, my video blog from, I don't even know what date it was, but it's in the second page of my website, okay? So you can read more about it. Can you take all your supplements at the same time all together? I find it easier to do. Absolutely, Kathy. I mean, if you already have COVID and if you're doubling up on the dosages, I would maybe kind of try to space it out, because there's only so much you can absorb at a time. But most of the vitamins are fine. Iron is a little bit harder, to absorb, but we're not taking iron for COVID, so don't worry about that. But absolutely, take it with a meal. Sometimes if you take all these supplements, on an empty stomach, it can kind of give you, a bit of a stomach upset. So, but yeah, in the most part, most of the vitamins are fine to combine together. If you are a little bit more organized, dividing it up into 2 batches is a good idea, just so that you're not, trying to absorb everything, all at once. Okay. But generally speaking, most of the vitamins are fine to combine. Okay, so remember, guys, quercetin, okay, liposomal quercetin, that's a really good suggestion. The other new one that has just been, talked about a lot, and it was interesting that in this chart that I'm going to be posting, showing like all the things that can really help, with COVID. The next one down after quercetin is the black seed cumin oil. Okay, so it's an herb called Nigella sativa. Again, super popular. You can find it in any health food store. The reviews, if I'm not mistaken, was 40 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. Again, super safe, and that helps to lower the inflammation in your respiratory tract. So the main things and the main complications that we're trying to avoid, with COVID is that systemic inflammation, the cytokine storm, and clot formations. Okay, so a lot of people who who get COVID, they end up getting clots, so which is not a good thing. We definitely want to avoid that. Okay, so think about your immune vitamins. Think about quercetin. Think about the black cumin seed oil. Some people take curcumin, melatonin, fish oils, so there's a lot of other things. And of course, if you do have if it's becoming a little bit more severe, and first of all, just because you're taking these vitamins, that does not replace your need to go to the hospital if you feel like you can't breathe, and if you need to go to the hospital, go to the hospital. Okay, so don't think like, oh, I'm taking my vitamins, that should be enough. If you can't breathe, you can't breathe, you have to go to the hospital. Okay, so please, don't think that just because you're taking these natural immune system, support, that's going to replace, a more traditional or conventional treatment that may be needed for more severe case. So please, just think about that. Okay, so the next thing is just again very quickly, because we reviewed this before and after a shot. The most minimal thing that you want to be taking is, again, your immune vitamins. Take your vitamin D, your vitamin C, your zinc. We used to say take it for a good month, before each vaccine, and your probiotics, by the way, I should add that to the list. Take it for a good month, and for a good month before the shot and a good month after, the shot. Okay. So if what you have to remember is that all these shots are revving up your immune system, and that's expected and that's okay. Okay. So it's okay to have some symptoms. You get the COVID arm, you get the pain, in the underarms, you get the fatigue, you get a little bit of a headache. The question is, can your immune system get you back to where you were before, after, like, I don't know, 24 hours, 48 hours or so, right? If you don't, and you're taking all your vitamins, then that's when you want to contact your naturopathic doctor. You can contact me if you are my patient. And there are homeopathic remedies that can help to reduce the ill effects of vaccines. Okay. We would look at things that are stronger anti-inflammatories. We would look at things that will help, with the liver detoxification, reaction. Okay. But most people are fine, with their boosters, and their vaccines. So just make sure that you're taking your 4 immune supplements: vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, and probiotics. Okay. So those are your basics. Okay. That's something that hopefully everybody is already taking. Okay. If you can, do it for a whole month, before the shot, and for a whole month after, the shots. Okay. So those are the basics. Okay. So then the next question was, what can I do for fatty liver? Okay. So a lot of people have a fatty liver, they don't even know it. Okay. But if you do know that you have a fatty liver, it may be because, one, the doctor did some blood work, or two, they did an ultrasound, to find this out. Okay. So in the blood work, what we normally find is that your liver enzymes go high. Okay. And what can also happen is that your ferritin, which is your iron levels, also goes high, not because you're absorbing, too much of the iron, but it's almost like something that happens as a consequence of inflammation in the fatty liver, inflammation in the liver. Okay. So, so your doctor could have seen, your test results and told you you have a fatty liver. Or, to confirm this, many doctors, what they do is they look at the blood work and they're like, uh-oh, maybe there's a fatty liver. And then they send you to get an ultrasound to confirm, if that's the case. Okay. But like I said, fatty liver doesn't cause any pain, so a lot of people have it and they don't even know, they have it. So it's not a good thing, to have it. But fatty liver is 99% of the time, well, maybe 95. It could be from alcohol, and all that. But if you are not drinking a lot of alcohol, which I'm hoping you're not, it's related to blood sugar dysregulation. Okay, so if your blood sugar is going up and down, or if it's too high, or your insulin, which doesn't always get tested, your insulin should be under 80. If your insulin is high and you have something called insulin resistance, that is usually the reason why people develop a fatty liver. So I get a lot of patients who come in and they're like, oh yeah, I'm taking my milk thistle, and that's fine. Milk thistle helps, to kind of like protect liver cells. But if you're not working on the diet, and if you're not working at reducing, your blood sugar, levels in the blood, which is mostly from obviously sugar, processed foods, simple carbs, then it's going to be very hard, for you to get rid of, the fatty liver. Okay. So, yeah, I can't remember who asked me about the fatty liver. Maybe it was Shannon. I can't remember, but somebody asked me about fatty liver. Okay. So then the next question was, zinc, and if zinc can help to balance hormones. So I keep on talking about zinc, but more so in the respect of the immune system. Okay, so zinc is really important for healing, and it's really, really important for our immune system. In terms of hormones, zinc can be really important for our thyroid. Okay, so I've talked about thyroid in the past. So our thyroid is located right here in our throat. It produces 2 main thyroid hormones, the T4 and the T3. But the T3 is the more active of all the thyroid hormones. And again, unfortunately, the free T3 doesn't always get tested, but in functional medicine, if you're going to see a naturopathic doctor or a functional doctor, they will test your free T3. And why is that important is because we need to know if your T4 is converting to the T3, okay? Because our thyroid produces mostly T4. It produces a little bit of T3, but mostly T4. For that conversion of the T4 to the T3, we need a lot of different nutrients, but one of the nutrients is zinc. Okay, so zinc is really important, not only for the immune system, but also to regulate our thyroid. Okay, and maybe it helps the immune system because it's regulating the thyroid. It's possible, because the thyroid is kind of like the engine of our body. And if the thyroid is not working well, then everything is slower, right? So maybe there's a connection there. The other hormone that zinc is really helpful with is with the breakdown of our testosterone. Okay, so testosterone is more the male hormone, but we have it as well. And if testosterone is low in our body, if we're not breaking it down properly, then we can have symptoms. And zinc is really good for that, so for the testosterone, balance. Okay, so I hope that helps, Shannon. The next question was from Pam. And Pam was asking what natural tips is there to lower blood pressure. And this is a very good question, especially because, I talked about this earlier. Lowering blood pressure is really important to try to reduce your risk of having a severe case of COVID, right? Which is, kind of like the hot topic, nowadays. So, there are many things that you can do to try to lower blood pressure. Obviously, with functional medicine and naturopathic medicine, the main thing that we would do is try to get to the root cause of the problem. Is it stress? Is it your weight? Or do you have a lot of inflammation, in your body? Is it food sensitivities? There could be so many different reasons, for high blood pressure. Now, the two main minerals that come to mind is potassium and magnesium, that can help to lower blood pressure. So if we think about foods, that are high in minerals, one of the first things that comes to mind is the green leafy vegetables, So my question to you, Pam, is, are you doing your green smoothies? I talk a lot about green smoothies. Or are you having big green, leafy salads, every day? So every day you want to think, okay, where are my greens? Okay, it should be a staple, in your house. Okay. So greens will have a lot of potassium, will keep you alkaline, and will also give you a lot of magnesium. Magnesium being the mineral that's very relaxing, in our body. Other foods that are high in magnesium would be avocados, dark chocolate. Okay, so don't go crazy with dark chocolate. So you can have a few squares, of the dark chocolate. Sweet potatoes. And nuts, so like Brazil nuts, almonds, cashews, all of those will have some magnesium, as well. There's a really nice fruit, and I don't know if you guys have heard of it, tamarind. We make like tamarind, we just put it in the blender with some water and it makes like a nice juice. That's a fruit that's very high in magnesium, as well. Sorry, I'm just gonna turn that off. So that's something else to think about. Other little tips is garlic, and garlic can also help to lower cholesterol and fish oils. So, eating more fish, in your diet, all of those would be helpful. But most importantly, I would want to you want to ask yourself, are you having some of the bad things, in your diet on a daily basis that can increase blood pressure? So for example, are you drinking a lot of coffee? You want to try to limit your coffee to no more than one a day. Are you drinking enough water, to kind of keep your body hydrated? If you're dehydrated, that can increase your blood pressure, as well. Are you drinking a lot of alcohol? For us women, we want to try to keep it to no more than one per evening and no more than twice a week. Okay, so if you're having more than that, then that could be also affecting your blood pressure. Are you a smoker? Smoking will increase your blood pressure as well, and especially if that's combined with a lot of stress. So you want to start thinking about all these different things and think about what are you going to try to reduce, okay? There's some teas that I wanted to mention as well. You know, if you're a big tea drinker or if you're trying to reduce the amount of coffee, maybe you can try to have some of the herbal, teas instead. So something like, for example, green tea. Green tea still gives you some caffeine, but very small amounts, and it actually gives you something called L-theanine, which is very relaxing. So if you feel like you do have a lot of stress and you do have a lot in your mind, or you're having heart palpitations, and maybe this is part of the reason why your blood pressure is going up, then decreasing the coffee and switching to green tea may be a really good choice for you, okay? The other one that can really help with blood pressure is dandelion leaf tea because that acts as a diuretic. So some people, they're retaining too much water, and that is what's causing, the high blood pressure. Hawthorn, berry leaf, you can find this tea, hawthorn, Hawthorn. Okay, that's a really nice tea to lower blood pressure, and it helps to protect your cardiovascular health. So again, there's so many teas out there. So I hope all of you are like into herbal teas, and of course with no sugar, because otherwise that defeats the purpose. And any of the herbal teas that you drink is part of your water intake. Okay, so you have so many options. You have the green tea, you have the nettle leaf tea, you have the hawthorn tea, hibiscus, oolong, tea. Oolong is Oolong. All of those are wonderful teas that you can have. It keeps you hydrated. It can help you reduce, the caffeine, and it can, at the same time, in different, ways, help to lower, that blood pressure. Okay. Exercise, especially if you're really busy, with work, you want to get up in the middle of the day or in the morning at least, if you don't think you're going to be exercising later on. 30 minutes, 5 times a week, Monday to Friday. It should be part of your daily routine, okay? That's what we consider minimal amount of exercise. And don't tell me, oh, I'm so busy, I'm always like running here and there. No, that's not exercise, okay? You want to take half an hour of your day. If you don't have half an hour for yourself, then you have bigger problems, okay? So half an hour for yourself to just go on the treadmill or go out for a walk or go out for a jog, or rowing machines, those are very popular now. So whatever it is that you can do, but try to exercise for half an hour, Monday to Friday, or 5 days a week. That's what we consider minimal amount of exercise, and that can really help your blood pressure and just a de-stressor, okay? Okay, so I think that answers all of your questions. Unless somebody out there has any other questions, please just type it in, okay? I am going to be having just online a 1 hour discussion in the top tips in how to detoxify. It's a free thing that I'm offering to all my patients. I'm doing it because I've been finding a lot of people are having a hard time getting back on track. They kind of went off track during the holiday season. And right now, it's honestly not the time, to be off track, okay? You can't afford to be gaining weight. You can't afford to have high blood sugars. You can't afford this. It's really, really important that you are, even if it's not 100% of the time, that a good 90% of the time, you're doing things that are good for your health. So I want to have a discussion, with all of you on the top 3 tips that are going to help you. Okay, so I'm having this on Monday, January the 17th at 6:30, p.m. The link is right there in the Facebook group. I've been sharing the link. I'll share it again, in the right below, this video, in case you want to join in. But I hope you can. I only have a few spots left. I don't want to get too many people in, because otherwise, I've done this before in the past, that I have too many people, joining in, and then I can't get to everyone's questions. So I want to keep it, just really intimate, so we can have a conversation and I can, answer all of your questions. But I want to make sure that I really encourage all of you, and I give you the top tips that I have seen in the past 21 years of helping, patients, what are the top things that can make the biggest difference. Okay. So I hope you can join in. Again, it's a free presentation, it's a free discussion. We're going to talk about detoxification, how to reduce cravings, if you are craving for sugar and sweets and carbs, and how to do it in a way that it's easy, that you can, easy, healthy habits that you can follow on a regular basis, and in a way that we can lower the inflammation, that we can decrease, that we can balance hormones, that we can decrease the risk factors, not only for COVID, but for cardiovascular health. So it's going to be really informative. I get a lot of really good feedback every time I have, these talks. So I hope all of you can join in. Okay. So I think that's all I had for today. So if you have any other questions, feel free to post. Otherwise, let me know what you think about the video. If you found this information useful, type it in. I want to know what you're thinking, or give me the thumbs up. Okay. Other than that, I hope all of you have a wonderful week. Keep safe. Make sure you use your masks, and you social distance, and you wash your hands. Those are just the basics. And yeah, remember, your body is in a constant desire to heal, and we just need to give it, what it needs. Our bodies are amazing. So keep healthy, and I'll see you all next Friday. You're welcome, Kathy. I'm glad you stayed with me throughout the whole time. Okay, I'll see you all Friday. Bye.